You know, a lot of people will talk about innovation as a quality of success. And we're going to be talking to somebody shortly here about that particular quality. She has great insight into the relationship between innovation and fun. But first I want to tell you a little bit about Ralston Chamber of Commerce, because Connie Reimers-Hild's interview coming right up is brought to you by the Ralston Chamber of Commerce. Now it's interesting, we all know that Sarpy County and that portion of Omaha is done very well, it's growing and so on and so forth. Ralston is one of the smaller chambers in the metro area, but I've met their leader, I've met some of their members, and I have to tell you, these are a feisty group of people. They are no holds barred, they are not afraid to break the rules and rethink about how do we build our commercial base, our business base. Let's take a fresh look at committees, assignments, volunteers, initiatives, and I have to just tell you, the Ralston Chamber of Commerce has really impressed me. If you want to join up with a small Chamber of Commerce so you know you can make a difference, think about that for a second in relationship to Success Summit. Make a difference. You may want to consider joining the Ralston Chamber of Commerce, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now, Connie Reimers-Hild, very interesting person. She's a doctor, a professor. She focuses on entrepreneurship and innovation. She works mostly out in Nebraska City, but of course, she's linked to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln and that whole system throughout our state. Please welcome a nice friend, Ms. Connie Reimers-Hild, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Reimers-Hild, talking about innovation. Hi. Great to see you again. You know, we always get together, we have such stimulating conversations, then we go off into our busy, frenetic world, and we don't talk to each other for months or whatever, you know. But, by the way, you know, you're also an author, you have a book.
That's right.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that, because I think it's a great book. I have the book.
Thank you. My most recent book is Go Wild with Confidence.
Go Wild with Confidence.
Go Wild with Confidence. It's available on Amazon as both a Kindle version and a paperback. And it actually has a picture of a little red wiener dog on the front. So you'll know it when you see it on Kindle, because I do have a little wiener dog named Fred who is extremely confident in all situations. If we acted more like Fred, I think...
So we all need to be like a wiener dog that's on the front of your book. I see.
We need to think we're bigger than we really are.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you later now.
That's right.
That's the whole story. You know, innovation is a very interesting thing. We're having this event here tonight because, my personal opinion, there isn't enough innovation going on. A lot of companies are holding on to the past. They were traumatized by the recession. There's a lot of uncertainty. Nobody knows exactly the twists and turns the economy is going to be taking down the road. So they're just kind of doing a minimal things, incremental line extensions and so on and so forth. And I believe deeply that innovation is the key factor for success, always, but especially now. What's your take on that?
Well, things do move quickly. I mean, we're in the 21st century, we're in a globalized world, and they move faster than ever. I mean, we know that. So as leaders, we really need to be able to look at those trends, yes, not just locally, but nationally, internationally, right, and really take advantage of those trends and the opportunities within that. Which can be difficult to do, but that means we have to fail faster, move faster, and innovate faster.
You know, I'm going to pretend that I'm an executive, a CEO listening to this interview, and I'm sure many will eventually, and they'll sit there and say, you know, the concept of innovation, you know, we've all heard that, and in theory we can buy into it. Most of them think that means, well, somebody's going to come up with a cool idea, you know, run off and come up with a cool idea, right? And then maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't. But a lot of companies I've found, and I'm asking your opinion here, don't know how to take an idea, a legitimate idea, and roll it out systematically, test it, and they don't know how to actualize ideas.
Well, and a lot of times, you know, people think innovation is all about product development.
Yes.
And as you're pointing out, even with the concept here today with WOWBIZ at the Embassy Suites,
yes,
you know, and the sponsors and bringing all these different people together, that itself is an innovation. You know, it can be a process, it can be a new partnership, a new cooperation, that new idea you're talking about, right, but you do have to have strategies and structures in place to make it work. And test it, you know, create a minimal viable product, test it out, get input. It might not be right, so keep tweaking it, keep going. Instead of just rolling out some big, huge thing that maybe nobody really wants.
Yes.
But that's why open innovation is also important. You may want to collaborate with other industries.
I want to interrupt you. Open innovation.
Open innovation.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, we can't know it all ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really critical. So we need to partner with other industries, other people, because I'm a firm believer that innovation always begins with people,
yes,
the person, but also with those customers and the clientele that we serve. And so that's why you see a lot of contests, you see a lot of surveys, because the company can't have all the ideas. They really want to listen to the customer.
You know, Procter & Gamble, obviously a big company, and they think they're very smart. They have a lot of resources and so on. And they had real difficulty innovating about 10 years ago. I'm sure you heard about this. So they decided to build a worldwide global system. And they said instead of outsourcing, which is a phrase we all know, of course, they call it insourcing. Right? And they have all these ambassadors. They call them cool trend hunters, or cool hunters, I think. And their job, I mean, in Japan, all over the world, and their job is to send Procter & Gamble in I think they're in Ohio, ideas that they come across at a boutique or someplace on the street, just anything. And they have all these ideas just coming at them, but they had to acknowledge that we don't have all the answers.
No, and we should acknowledge that. That's the first step. I think is admitting it.
It absolutely is. Now, when you consult with people and so on, you mentioned fun, and let's talk on the last portion of our interview here. What does that have to do with anything? I mean, I personally love to have fun. I think we're kind of having some fun here tonight, but what does that have to do with innovating?
Well, my own research has shown that people are motivated by personal fulfillment. And as I've continued to evolve that research, fun is kind of my new line of research. I'm pretty excited about it.
You had to get a doctorate to have fun, to appreciate the value of fun.
Well, I have always had a lot of fun. Luckily, I grew up in a family that appreciated fun. I mean, my dad is still just a kid at heart, and it's kept him really young. But I do find as we age, we get pretty dull and boring, and that is not a very good way to be creative or to innovate.
Yes.
And you know, fun means different things to different people, but I want to read a little something to you from the Tom Osborne Leadership Summit that I just taught out last week.
Great, go ahead, go for it.
And part of what I mean by fun is people tapping into their personal fulfillment and that sense of themselves. And I usually have people write about what action they're willing to take, because to innovate, we have to be in action.
Yes.
And so this participant wrote, "Dear Dr. Connie, thanks for saving innovative lives. I lack confidence, so it's definitely an area to improve. Time is always a factor, so I'm going to stop reading my phone so much and talk and handwrite notes to family more. I'm also going to share jokes and more laughter with my students." And all those students out there, this is good for them in the future.
Yeah, let's have more fun.
"Their 9 and 10-year-old minds should get to have more fun in school while learning. Thanks again, and God bless you."
Ah, nice. That's got to make you feel fulfilled, huh?
Well, I mean, really having fun for me partly is, helping serve others, and it is that sense of personal fulfillment, but it's also about them changing their habits and behaviors to something that's more productive and fulfilling in their life.
And fun, when we're having fun, we're playing. When we're playing,
Absolutely.
We're kind of in the right hemisphere of our brain. And that's where a lot of the creativity and innovation really originates. We have to get into that play mode.
We want to have whole brain thinking, and I think that's where the creativity and innovation really happens. And more of our companies, more of our businesses, and our communities as well really need to find ways to engage people in that process and let go a little bit and find some new ways to do things.
All right. Well, Connie Reimers-Hild, thank you so much. Good luck and congratulations
Thank
on that
you.
book.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Lynn.
Connie Reimers-Hild, ladies and gentlemen. Innovation, fun, confidence, go wild. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful job. All right. Very nice. All right.